Hello, everybody. Welcome to MangaPod. I'm Erin.
I'm Dodger.
I'm
Lou.
like,
And that's it.
That's it.
I'm done.
There's
I was
no
like,
one else.
Is she waiting for me to fill in Lou's name?
Yeah, I was.
I'm
But it's okay. I
Lou.
see how it is.
I'm Lou.
Look, I've cut off Lou plenty of times already, so I was giving enough time.
Just patiently
like it.
waiting. We are MangaPod. We're a weekly podcast where we all get together after we read all or part of a manga, and then we discuss its friendship, love, and lots of spoilers. This week we are talking Attack on Titan, chapters 72 through 88. I forgot that we changed it, so the splash screen is wrong. Except
It's
for
fine. We changed it kind of last minute. So anybody
Yeah.
who was trying to read along with us, I'm really sorry. But Moeka was like, yo, 88 is a way better spot to stop.
Yeah.
So
I was,
it
I was
definitely
thinking
was.
I was like, I think, because it's gonna be a while before we read the rest of the chapters, most likely, and so I was just like, I feel like this is a better stopping point, and people aren't gonna be like, oh no, why didn't you keep going?
Yeah.
So I was like, it's 2 chapters. I'll put it forward.
They were really fast to read. Like we'll get into it. Yeah, it's been a few years since we've done Attack on Titan. And so we asked that, once again, nobody in chat post any spoilers for anything until we get to spoiler section, especially Attack on Titan, which is a really big manga that also has a lot of twists and turns and stuff that would be really cool not to spoil for anybody. If you have never joined us for MangaPod before, what we like to do is give you a short spoiler-free description of the manga that we read, aka summary. Then we'll give you our spoiler-free recommendations, whether we think you should spend time going to read this manga or not. So that way, if it sounds like something you aren't interested in, you can go check it out once we get to spoiler section. Come back and watch the VOD of this on YouTube or listen to it on Spotify or iTunes. So I am going to go ahead and read the description for it. Got to close out of all my troubled birds.
or just open a new window and keep the troubled birds.
That's true.
Yeah.
Just constantly have them open. Ready.
You never know when you'll need them.
I wonder, what we should have done? We should have looked at the troubled birds and figured out which character goes to which troubled bird.
Oh
That should be
God.
every future MangaPod.
Good.
That's true.
Here, everybody in
Troubled
chat,
bird is
if you are curious about troubled bird it's my new obsession.
They're really
It's a
good.
good obsession.
They're real
It's
good. Okay. Attack on Titan. A century ago, the grotesque giants known as Titans appeared and consumed all but a few thousand humans. The survivors took refuge behind giant walls. Today, the threat of the Titans is a distant memory, and a boy named Aaron yearns to explore the world beyond Wall Maria. But what began as a childish dream will become an all too real nightmare when the Titans return and humanity is once again on the brink of extinction. Attack on Titan is the award-winning and New York Times bestselling manga that is the manga hit of the decade. Spawning the monster hit anime TV series of the same name, Attack on Titan has become a pop culture sensation.
Yes.
Wow.
This was, if you guys are, since we've done a lot of these podcasts, and we started years ago, you guys may not know that Attack on Titan was the first MangaPod we ever did.
Our very first manga pod.
Very first.
And I feel like we, again, because it was our very first manga pod, we all gave it extremely high scores. And I don't know that we would give it as high of a score at the beginning as we did with the first episode.
I know. Isn't that interesting? I was thinking about that too, because we gave it I feel like we all gave it an 8 or a 9 or did we even
all
do
gave it 9s or 10s?
Did we even do ratings like that at that point?
I think so.
Okay, yeah, we gave it really high. I remember that Densha Otoko was the highest one ever, and that was episode
Understandably,
6.
because
it's so good. I think we all gave Densha Otoko a 10 out of 10. So Attack on Titan was probably a 7 or 8s and 9s. Yeah. Yeah, that is interesting to think about after you've read a couple thousand more manga. Has it been 1,000? No, probably 100.
Yes. that we've read thousands of manga and
Thousands.
as professional manga readers.
We don't even have that many episodes, but we have read that many.
We're getting
Just
there.
mangas.
Okay, I'll have you know.
Believe that we're constantly reading manga behind the scenes.
Don't tell them. They're gonna think we're faking. We're fakers if we don't talk about it. No.
Well,
never
if
read
we're
a
talking
manga
about
in my
League of Legends Faker, then I would like to be him. He's really good at that game and makes a lot of money.
That was a heel turn.
I know. I was like, I coughed at the beginning of your sentence, so I was like, what did I miss in the lead up? Would any of you oh wait, we did mention his name earlier, but we are currently missing Lou, our fourth co-host. If you guys want to go ahead and shoot him some love on Twitter, his Twitter is Lou Talks Anime, and let him know that we're thinking of him. We miss him always.
Yeah.
Who wants to go first for spoiler-free recommendations?
I can go. Some of you who have followed me for a while know that at one point in my career, I got into a really intense Twitter fight with some people about whether or not Attack on Titan was good. To Aaron and Moeka's credit, they both jumped in to try and help me out. Thank you both.
We did. That's
friendship.
right.
Welcome.
You're welcome.
Here for you
'cause
anytime.
We backed you. We agreed.
So,
Fuck the
starting
haters.
off, like, this manga I thought was like not super great in terms of the art and the way that it portrayed like action. I will say that what we read this time I think is the strongest part of it that we've ever read. So I really enjoyed the section that we read this time. I thought that everything was pretty clean. I thought that story-wise it had a lot of cohesiveness. A lot of the things that I had problems with leading up to here, you can tell that the mangaka got a lot better and stronger and like figured out ways to overcome some faults. So yeah, like this section I thought was really good. I enjoyed it a lot. I was really engaged. So yeah, definitely.
I definitely think this part is the strongest, but with the way the anime or where the anime is at right now, I'm a little hard pressed to be like, yeah, the manga is so much better. So
yeah.
in that sense, I want to just recommend you go watch the anime because the animation is beautiful. It's just it's so good. It's so good. So it's hard to kind of recommend the manga over the anime. Kind of like Haikyuu almost.
Yeah.
Except for this style is just overall so harsh, I feel. So it's a little hard to get into.
Yeah.
Especially if you went from anime to manga.
To the manga. I completely agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah. Was this the first time you read the manga, Micah?
No.
Okay.
I read it before. This had been my stopping point before being on MangaPod. So it was kind of like nice to go back and be like, oh yeah, this is why I got really into it. And then I remembered, oh no! For reasons I can't talk about right now because we're not in spoiler section.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
I agree with Moeka having watched season 3 before reading this section. The whole time I was reading it, I was hyped because of how I remember it in the anime, and so it made me just as hyped for the manga. I feel like if I'd read the manga section first, I would be even more blown away by the anime.
I have not seen season 3.
Okay, so I'm not. Yeah, we won't spoil.
So I'm probably I'm just saying I'm probably a good representation of that idea then because I didn't see the anime and I really enjoyed this part in the manga. So
yeah, so you'll have to after you watch it, you'll have to see what.
Nothing. Continue.
I do that all the time. I was gonna say I literally like do that all the time. I'll look down and I'll be like, Oh, okay.
What
You
is
smeared
this?
chocolate chip on me, I hope.
There's something on me.
Something.
No idea what it is. This
What-
shirt literally just came out of the laundry because my kid threw up on me from eating too much yogurt this morning, and I just swapped to a shirt directly
Ooh.
out of the dryer. And now I'm like, what is on me? She didn't vomit on me again. It's just the once.
It just lingered over.
Anyways, continue.
No, you're fine. I agree that this section of reading is a lot stronger than the previous section of reading that we did. It just felt very cohesive. I agree with what Dodger said, that the mangaka took some things into consideration, not just in terms of the art, but also in terms of how to display action and, what's the word? Like the way things play out. Which the mangaka has had issues with, when to do flashbacks, when not to, like that sort of thing. So I agree that this is a very strong batch of reading. I also think with Moeka that if I have the time, I'd rather go experience in anime form. But that isn't to detract at all from how I felt the manga handled it. I almost went into mangaka and stopped myself. So I ended in a very weird tone of voice for manga. Manga. Oh wait, can we shout something out really quick before we get into spoiler section? Tower of God has an anime, if you guys did not know. Tower of God anime officially came out, and since we're MangaPod, aka sometimes TalkPod, and we actually just on the Haikyuu VOD on YouTube, somebody said, when are you gonna do Tower of God again?
Yeah.
Isn't that on every
saw.
VOD?
So I was like, it's actually been like at least 10 episodes since somebody had said that. So it just felt like we need to shout it out in case anyone knows, since we have done a lot of TalkPod. So
That's true.
it's on
It's up on Crunchyroll.
Crunchyroll. So I'm excited for it. I watched it. I think it's like, I agree
I'm
with
excited for it too.
Yeah, what you guys said, that it like it has the same issues with the first few chapters of the manga, but knowing what happens in the manhwa and what's gonna come is just.
I like the look of the animation. I know not everybody does.
I
but
do too.
I think it's like perfectly sketchy. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
Mhm.
I agree. Cool. Let's jump in. Do you guys have anything else you want to say for spoiler-free section? Otherwise, we'll jump into spoilers.
Nope, I don't think so.
Good. Okay.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
The Attack Titan is the god
The
of the
Attack
Titan.
Titan.
The Attack
Yeah.
Titan.
Yeah, that was a good ending point.
Yeah.
What is that Titan called? Stares at Lens. The Attack Titan.
Dodger,
Finally coming together.
Dodger in the chat goes, did we end at the chapter that's the name of the manga? And we're like, yes. She was okay, good.
Trying not to just be like, are we ending where they reveal that because I didn't know whether or not all of us had finished the reading yet. So, yes.
Yeah, so it's been a really long time since we did Attack on Titan.
Yeah.
Previously, I think it's been like 2 years at least.
Yeah, it's been a while for
Yeah.
sure. Because
Um,
the only thing that I could remember was that they were like, hey, remember that basement? We should look in there. And that was basically where we ended, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
They're like, we gotta figure out how
Um,
to get to the basement.
Yeah, so I came back into it going, I remember that the entire last section of reading was all like political intrigue shit,
Mhm.
which
You.
overall was fine. But I couldn't remember details of it very well. You know, it
Yeah.
was I wound up going back to like chapter 50 and reading a little bit and then skipping a couple chapters and reading a little bit and skipping a couple chapters and like all the way up to where we were supposed to start reading, because I was like, I just can't remember exactly what was going on.
Mhm.
But I'm so grateful that by the end of our reading, we actually did go in the basement. So it's like, if we finish this reading and I still haven't been in the basement, I'm gonna lose my mind.
Wasn't it crazy? You're just sitting there like, Well, something with Attack on Titan that I was thinking while I was reading this is like we're literally only in chapter 88. And a lot of times with like manga, especially since I think Attack on Titan is considered shonen, you expect those to go forever, especially years in. And so when I went and looked at it and was like, we're literally only in chapter 72. Like it just feels like forever. And I think it's because the first time we did a MangaPod, the first time we did Attack on Titan, there was only like 20 chapters out. Like we started reading it very soon after it started publishing.
I want to say both times that we read it, we read everything that was out.
Yeah, we've done...
Because I think the second time we read it too, we were like, just read until there's nothing left.
I think we've done it. This will be our fourth time, actually. And then we have every single time we've caught up to where they were done reading or like where they'd been done publishing. And so it's a very bizarre feeling. I think after we've done so many series that are so long, like Ajime no Ippo or like all of these other ones, that the fact that we're constantly catching up to it is just like, it's weird. It feels weird for me. I don't know why.
There's like over 100 chapters of this now though, right?
Yeah. 100.
So we're pretty behind, but we did take a couple years off from it.
Yeah, we're a little bit behind.
I forgot that the chapters are so long. Sorry, Moeka. Please stop.
No, it's okay. I was just gonna say that yeah, it's like you said, Aaron, it's so weird because we're so used to reading like really long series and feeling like, oh, it felt so short. But yeah, I've always found it really weird that Attack on Titan, even though it's so popular, the mangaka feels like he takes quite a while to get chapters out now. Because I remember this section had just come out around like 2017, I think like the middle or end of it. So it was just a little, I don't know. I wonder like what's going on, like if it's like a health issue with the mangaka. And that's why there's only like 100 something chapters,
right?
Or what?
I know he does it monthly. At least he used to, or did it become like bi-monthly?
I think it's still monthly, and that's why the chapters are so long.
Yeah,
but I'm not sure.
What were you gonna say, Dodger? Oh,
I don't remember. I don't think it mattered.
So I'm trying to think about where to start. So we, like Dodger was talking about, the last section was so much politics. I think the last section we had Kenny and the stuff with Historia and all of that, I think was the last arc, like the last section that we checked out.
It was a revolution story. It was let's overthrow the government and basically like have it run by the military while we take back the wall. And so the section that we read this time was, all right, let's take back the wall, right? Like we're gonna send out everybody and just do our best. So yeah, I think sometimes when I'm reading Attack on Titan, I forget how much space, like I forget how much area is supposed to be inside of these walls.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
No, I agree.
Yeah.
Like I'm always like, it feels like there's a very tiny bit of space, like that it's just wall and then a few miles and then wall. But there's like actually like houses and fields and all of this stuff in between. So it's kind of like you've got Colorado and then Nebraska where it's just absolutely nothing except for a sporadic few farm. And then you get to like Chicago or something like that. Like there's just this huge amount of space, but you don't, I don't know if it's because of how fast they travel or if like he stopped relying on maps or the maps didn't really give off how much space there is between it. But I have that same issue where I'll be like, there's supposed to be this much within that little wall. It's like, what?
Yeah. So yeah, we have like the three main Titans aside from Eren, they like had at that point. So Beast and Colossal and Armor Titan. Oh, and Ymir, but she wasn't involved anymore, really.
No.
Right. Like we don't know where she is, but she like went with the other Titans. Yeah.
And then we have Annie. Yeah, Annie is also.
Oh yeah, because Annie's still alive.
She's still alive.
MIA.
Yeah.
Right.
She's like captured and they're doing stuff
they're, like,
to her. That's what
experimenting on her question mark. That's the implication.
Yeah. She's literally we've never checked back in with her.
Like, no, they just mention her sometimes as a plot point.
Yeah.
But like, we have no idea what's
do you remember Annie, who I am kind of in love with, and I'm Rainer? And it's like, wait, I don't. Where is she?
Okay. Yeah. So they all went out. We find out that Eren has been training to like control and maximize on his abilities as the attack Titan. That he's able to, and maybe they're all able to do this because they're all able to like become stone or whatever. But they realized that he can like shed his Titan skin basically in order to fill up the holes that are in the walls. So that's like what this big mission is. I had also forgotten until they made it really clear that they had basically like filled out their ranks with randos. Right, just anybody who wanted to be part of the Survey Corps, they were like, sure.
Yeah, it's like, we need these numbers.
Yeah, we need people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the fact that we were finally getting the basement, like they were going there, and that is where the basement is, and so it put us even that much closer. And so going into it, you're like, who's gonna get sacrificed? Like, what's gonna happen? Because this is Attack on Titan, people die all the time. Who's gonna be the ones to lose their lives for this mission to finally get to the basement? And it's like, who is gonna be the ones to get to the basement? And so we had a few major things happen. We had the getting to the basement, and we had the facing off against Bertholdt and Bertholdt and Reiner and Zeke, the
Beast.
Yeah. And so going into it, like Bertholdt and Armored Tall, whatever. They have been the face of enemies since the first chapter, the first episode, because they're the ones who break through the wall. They're the ones that appear out of nowhere. They set this whole thing off. And so the lead up to fighting them and figuring out how they're going to die is like really big deal. And you're also sitting there wondering, or at least I was, are they going to be able to beat them? Because they fought against them before and they lost horribly. And there are these two, they are the picture, and it's like, how are they going to kill them? Or is it going to be a thing? Because we're so used to having these arcs stretch on and on, especially with the main villains. It's like they don't die early. The people who die in this manga are the good people. Like that's who die in this. And so going into this, not quite knowing or expecting either of them to lose, I thought set the stakes really high and made it really interesting to want to get through and read.
I was so mad how many times Reiner got away.
Right? I was like, God damn
he like almost died so many times in that fight. I was like, your luck's gonna run out, bud. And I don't know if it was brilliant or obnoxious for him to be the one that almost died so many times and have he be the one that got away, and Bertholdt is the one that got eaten.
Yeah.
Right? Like that was honestly surprising to me. I haven't watched this season in the anime, so I was not sure which one they were gonna save between Armin and the commander.
My man.
I
I was so, oh my god. I had put, so I read it when I first read it, I had been so upset, and then I just put it out of mind, and then coming back into it, it was just like, oh my god, oh no, here we go again. No!
That was
Oh.
an insane back and forth. Like, I genuinely was sitting there like, who are they gonna pick? Even though it makes sense why they would pick Armin, like why Levi did pick Armin, and like I really like how Levi got to that conclusion. Levi's my boy.
That's what I was gonna say too.
He will forever be
Yeah.
my boy. He was so important to this section of reading. It was like Levi porn for me. It was great. He was awesome. He did so much, so much.
He did. He was a badass.
But seeing his thought process of it wasn't like he knew it was right or wrong. Like what led to him deciding to do Armin wasn't some grandiose, oh, he's the one who's going to save the future. Like what Aaron and Mikasa were saying. That's not what he thought about when he was deciding to save Armin. He thought about how the captain deserved to rest. Like the captain had reached that point where he had finally decided, okay, this is where I need to be able to move on from this.
Well, not only that, but like they had a conversation right before acting on this plan that was basically, I'm going to sacrifice myself and then it's going to be your job to like finish it. And like, I'm fine with that. And I think it was the additional guy that brought him back being like, because he's like a monster and we need monsters on our side. It felt like that was the moment when Levi was like, God, can he just, I'm just gonna let him not come back to this. you know?
Yeah.
And I thought that was really sad. But yeah, I totally agree with that. Was the exact thing that I was going to say. Is at first I was going, I cannot imagine a scenario in which Levi brings Armin back and I'll think that it makes any sense at all. And by the end of it, by the time that he chose Armin, I was like, you're right. You're right. Just let him die.
Yes.
I also think it's kind of that, I think it's on top of, because they kind of touched on it at that point too, was that by that point Erwin had been like, I mean, he gave up on his dream. His only, like, the only thing that kept him going was getting to the basement. And so for him to be like, okay, like, I'm gonna put my life on the line to make sure that you can take this Titan with you down. And so I think part of like, okay, I think it's time for him to rest is more of, they at that point they were gonna get to the basement, it seemed. And so I think it's just him realizing, oh, once we get to the basement, Erwin's not gonna want to continue. The only reason he came back was because we forced him into it with the promise of, you get to see the basement if you do this. And so I think it's that whole like, Armin still has like that sparkle in his eye whenever he talks about like, oh, we're gonna go to the ocean. And it's not just the ocean, it's more of, there are other things just outside the wall that he's so curious about. And so I think Levi came to the conclusion, we'll get further with Armin than we will with Erwin at this point. So
because as long as there are things to find and questions to answer, Armin will have that spark and that drive. Yeah.
And they did a really good job building up to having it be Armin versus Erwin, because since the beginning Armin has mirrored Erwin. Like, he's been the smart one, he's blonde, like he's much more he's so tactical. Erwin has like discussed plans with him to get his input. Like, they've done a really good obvious job that Armin is supposed to be the one who takes after Erwin.
Right. He's like destined for a leadership role.
Yeah.
And like, sorry.
No, you go.
All I was gonna say is like having him also start off as such a coward and like grow so much up to this point to the point that like someone can say to him, "You're in charge. What are we doing?" And he can respond. I think, yeah, I agree with you that like that created a situation where he's just gonna be able to blossom even more now because it's out of necessity.
Yeah.
Anyway, what were you gonna say? I'm sorry.
Oh, no, you're fine. I was gonna say something else I liked about it was the fact that Armin isn't just like a copycat baby version of Erwin. Like they do have differences. Like Armin still isn't the best with like physical or motivating speeches or anything like that. So he's gonna grow into that, or maybe he'll still be different than Erwin. Like he's not going to be exactly the same, but he's going to help accomplish the same things and be that light that Erwin was. And so often in stories, when somebody's taking over the role of someone else, like they're taking over for the old guy, it's literally they're the exact same person, just in like a younger, more optimistic form. And so having that difference between the two of them, I really enjoyed that aspect of the writing. Like it was really refreshing to have it that way.
For sure.
What did you think about the way that what did you guys think about when that happened to Armin?
Like when he caught fire?
When he got fire.
Yeah,
like,
when
were you guys
steamed?
expecting him to get steamed? Were you expecting him to get steamed so hard that everything but his pants somehow hung on? Which I guess makes sense because he was like this and the steam was like, so his butt would have been here. So it was like, so his head would have protected.
Yeah, it makes sense.
So, like, my sleeve is his pants. So, you know, when you go like this, look, you can't see his butt when you do it like this.
You're right. You are very
his
right.
butt here. You can't see it.
This is his head. There. What were your guys' thoughts?
You're right.
I thought for sure that he was gonna die the second that he was in the steam.
Yeah.
Like there were too many death flags, man. There was too much of like, remember, we're gonna see the ocean together. Trust me. I was like,
oh no. No.
I
already lost one.
And then yeah, when he just like jumped at the colossal titan and was taking steam, I was like, steam like that already gives you 3rd-degree burns. Like if he's just sitting in it, either he's going to be mutilated forever or he's going to die. And there's no like because I was positive, for some reason I didn't think it was going to be here's 2 really important characters that are almost dead situation. I thought that for sure Levi was going to give the injection to Erwin outside, like on the other side of the wall. So when Levi showed up, he was like, this guy's fucking chasing me. What the hell? I was like,
yeah, this fucking monster. Oh, that was my favorite part. So good.
It was very good.
Oh my gosh. Levi's whole jumping from Titan to Titan to get to the Beast Titan was it was so fucking good in the anime, and it was so good here too. It's probably like Levi has a lot of badass moments, and I like that now we've gotten more character development from him, and especially the fact that it's connected to Erwin. Like just the idea that he is such a good soldier, and that even the Beast is like, wow, I was warned about him and I'm still mind blown, like blown away about what was going on. And also the fact that Mikasa is like up there with him too, which is another implication of like, oh, Levi's the strongest soldier and Mikasa's up and coming and younger, so she's gonna take after him if he dies. But yeah, that whole where he just appears and starts going from Titan to Titan to Titan, and then the Beast has that moment of, wait, where the fuck did all of my dudes go? I don't understand. It was such an epic buildup and such an epic moment, just stuff happening immediately. And the payoff of it was really good. Because there's times where stuff like that could be the heroic rushing where you're just like, okay, good, nothing came from it, great, no payoff. But this one had such an epic payoff, and it's really good in the anime because you have Levi's voice actor, and the music and the animation of it is just so good. It made me hype in here too. I was reading and I was like, yes, 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 yes. My baby.
Yeah, I'll have to watch this season of the anime.
It's really good. Another moment that I remembered happening in the anime and was really excited to read again here. What did you think, Dodger, since you haven't seen the anime of this section, about where the whole buildup of where Reiner and Bertholdt were hiding?
Oh, I knew it already.
Oh, you did?
Well, I had guessed it.
Mine.
Because I don't know. When they were like, we've got to find houses. I was like, but they're not, it doesn't look like they're in a house.
Yeah.
Aren't they in the walls? Surely they're in the walls. And then they were like, oh my God, I think they're in the walls. I was like, oh, sick. Okay, great. I called that.
Oh, sorry.
No. Go for it.
Oh, I was just going to say the way that there was another epic Levi moment of when Reiner's coming out and you're like, oh shit, he's going to get away. And then Levi is fucking there. He's fucking there before you can even
him
like
to just
think
insta-dive.
about it.
I thought that would have been incredible if Reiner was just dead.
Yes.
Like, Levi! But no, that was the first of like 18 times Reiner almost died and then got away. So
yes.
Fuck him, he sucks. I'm so mad.
It was good Levi moment though.
Yeah.
Good Levi. Just fucking there.
Yeah. I thought overall that whole fight was really good. I wasn't expecting that what they were going to find in the basement was just books. I don't know why.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think it was just going to be books.
Yeah.
But I really loved the like story that we got at the end of our reading. I didn't feel like it necessarily answered all of the questions that I had, really, and I don't think it was supposed to. But I still liked it. I still thought it was interesting because it wasn't like, oh yeah, there's just a bunch of people that are living that are all Titans, or oh yeah, there's just a bunch of people living that have nothing to do with the Titans. It was still, it was just like a more advanced version of basically what they're in currently. Mm-hmm. So I think my big question that I keep being like, wait, but then what is going on is like, we still don't know why they're trying to kill everybody, right?
Yeah.
The only thing that I can assume is that like the people that can transform into Titans were persecuted for so long that they were like, we'll just get rid of everybody else. Mm-hmm. But that seems super flimsy. Yeah. So I'm still like not really sure what's going on there.
Well, is this just me being like crazy? But isn't it's totally possible. Zeke, the Beast Titan, isn't that Aaron's dad's son from behind the walls? Yeah. And so
I didn't know that, I don't think.
Yeah, so Zeke is the Beast Titan's real name, like his human name. And then Zeke is the kid
did we already know that? Did we read that?
I thought it was in last.
I think it was like in this section a little bit
section
or
earlier.
Missed that.
Yeah. I mean, it had to have been either in the anime or in what we read, because this is as far as I've read. So.
Yeah, no, it's kind of easy to like look past, I feel, because I mean, we've only known the Beast Titan as like the Beast Titan, and so it wasn't until like recently that some people were like, oh, Zeke. Mm-hmm. And so so for
that makes a lot of sense, because we did have the panel where he was looking at Zeke and you saw like a cross section of like his face and his dad's face.
Mm-hmm.
That makes a whole lot of sense now. Because at first I was like, but he's not your dad. Why
Yeah.
are we seeing a cross section of the faces? I obviously missed like a really important plot point in there somewhere. All of these panels were supposed to mean a whole lot, and they did not to me.
Yeah, so for anybody who missed it, essentially Grisha got with like someone of royal blood. And
Yeah.
so her family is like known for the beast powers that you see. And so his idea was that the way he was going to help his people was he was going to give his son to the Marley people in order to like get behind the lines and infiltrate them. But he didn't realize that he was a shitty dad, so his kid turned him in.
Yeah.
And so it has like those parallels to Erwin again, where it's like Erwin fucked his dad over by being so curious about like how things are in the world they live in.
Yeah.
And so it's just like, oh my god.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I actually really like the conversation that was happening at the end there between the owl and the dad. Just like, I 100% did this to myself, right? Like both of them are just in like kind of quiet agony over all of their choices up to that point. And yeah, also did I make this up, but the royal like princess, Zeke's mom, she became the Titan that ate Aaron's mom.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes.
So that's fucked up.
That's fucked up, right?
So that's another part that has me going, wait, how did she even get there?
Yeah.
Which I'm assuming that the area that they kick people off like out and I realize that all this happened a long time ago, so like things might have changed up to this point, but like the area that they like dump people in and turn them into Titans directly leads to like Walrose and Maria and all of that.
So they were
I'm
just
assuming,
hanging out.
Yeah, all of the Titans that they just kick out of their city wind up eventually getting to the other area. It's just that they've never traveled far enough to know that there's another city with more walls and so all of that I thought was really interesting. I really liked that storyline. And the knowledge at the end that like once you have attained the ability to transform into a Titan, you have 13 years to live, or like they think you do.
Yeah.
That was a moment where I remembered, oh yeah, Aaron was pretty young at the start of this manga. Like him going, cool, so that means I've got about 9 years left before I'm gonna die. And I was like, it's already been that long since the first time you turned into a Titan? That's fucked, really?
Right? And so I was trying to think of the timing for his dad, because his dad must have been really close to dying at the point when the manga first started, because he turned into the Attack Titan, like obviously right before Aaron was born, like very shortly before that. Because if Aaron was 13 when he got shot with it and ate his dad, then that's about the timeline. So his dad was like getting ready to peace out anyway.
Right.
So he wanted to make sure it got to Aaron. Yeah. But then that makes me wonder how long Zeke has been the Beast Titan. Like,
right.
When did his thing happen? Because he must have still been within like the wall, outside the wall of the one place. The like
But again, we don't know what's going on there anymore. Like if they've gained power over that city, or if like Zeke eventually turned on the military, or like we're not sure when that would have happened. So
There's still a bunch of there's a bunch of timing questions that we still
banana bread.
She's looking for no.
Moika's cat is on the hunt for some food.
Food, yeah. Even though we just ate not too long ago.
Food. But I've been interested. Oh,
sorry. I just wanted to like clear up that so when they showed like little oh my god, he's like milk. So when we see like Eren and Mikasa when they're little, they're like 9 at that point.
mm-hmm.
And so by the time they join up in the military, they are like 15, which is like crazy to think about. Like, oh, these are just children in the military.
Yeah.
And so, and at the point that we are in the manga, it's been a few years. And so I think they're around like at least 16, 17. So the young
yeah
babes.
well, in the flashback story as well, when they're talking about their government asking for like children to be warriors, they're like, we're looking for kids 5 to 7 years old. I was like, bleh.
Yes.
Yeah,
it's so fucked up. Like imagining taking my kid at 5 years old and being like, maybe my kid can be an informant. Yeah, you can have her. Like, yeah, you were a shitty dad. 100%. Like, if you were willing to do that, I can't even imagine.
No. Like, Haley's 4.5. I cannot imagine just going, all right, bye.
Yeah, sure.
Here you go.
Be off. Be good for people.
Yeah. They're also like, they're tattletales at that age. It's like,
totally.
They don't know what it means to keep a secret. And so it's like, stupid. Didn't understand children's ages. Didn't understand children's psychology.
Yeah.
I was very excited that they got to the basement. I also did not expect to be there what was there. Or to have this like whole other world, like cities and stuff exist. I was just like, the fuck? Like that was
I was not. I was not expecting that at all.
I was expecting some like cure or something for the Titans, and it's just hey, we have blimps. What?
Which I think this section of the manga is where you saw a lot of like discourse in the community because people were getting like parallels to Nazis.
Yeah.
And like them trying to get trying to get rid of people just because of like who like where they were born and whatnot. And so
they're like bloodlines.
Even having to wear the armbands and stuff.
Yes. So the armbands for sure.
So not the best for a lot of people to go into being just thrown into that. I thought, man, I got distracted by my cat.
No, you're fine.
Fuck, I had something. Okay, you guys keep talking until I remember.
Nazis, discourse in the community.
Oh yeah, so I think that's why the people where Eren's at, that's why they're not liked. It's because they're part of Ymir's descent or something. Because they talked about how they made her, or like, I don't know. It seems like there's like Marley, and then there's Ymir and people who seem to have the ability to shift into these Titans.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which makes me wonder, like, about Marleyan people, because at some point it seemed like maybe they were running out of people who could transform into the certain beasts.
Yeah.
So that's why I was just like, I wonder if it's one of those things where it's like you have to be part of Ymir's family or descent, whatever, to transform. Otherwise, it doesn't work.
Yeah. You have to have a special bloodline.
Yeah, because it's like Zeke's mom is like part of it, and then it seemed like it's the same with Reiner, Annie, and Berthold. They don't seem to be like quote unquote pure Marleyans.
Yeah.
But then is the implication that everybody behind the walls that we've known up to this point is a descendant of Ymir.
I think so. Yeah.
Because otherwise this whole plan of like, well, we'll have a thing to inject somebody and they can become a Titan, it wouldn't work.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So I'm pretty certain that's like the implication is that the people that aren't pure Marleyans get thrown there because
Right.
they did something to break the rule set.
Mm-hmm.
But that's what's so confusing for me though. Like, how did they wind up there in the first?
How did they all end up there if they were turning everyone into Titans and then kicking them over?
Yeah.
How did this big group of people
a bunch of
get over there?
people like went there Australia style, or maybe just like sent there, and then
Australia style.
you know,
the way
like,
I read it and understood it was that the Ymiran people split off it like into factions, so half of them moved to the walls on purpose because the king's like the king got super weird because he's like the founding Titan, and there's some sort of secret that like he refuses to leave the walls, so that's how you know that something's really fucked over in Marley. And so half of them moved to the walls and the other half got left behind, and they like don't want to move to the walls because of what's happening in Marley specifically, or I don't know. That's the weird thing is like trying to find out like what the fuck is going on here with that.
Yeah, it's hard because at this point the like current generation in both cities doesn't have all the information anymore.
Yeah.
Right. So they don't even know why they're there. But that would make a whole lot of sense if that's what it is, because they kept enforcing this idea of like 8 of the special Titans were in one place. Right. So does that mean that like the city with the Marleyans is where 8 of them are, and then there's 2 more that are somewhere else that maybe we haven't seen, or maybe we have and they are, you know, the colossal Titan and whatever. We don't know that stuff yet either, I guess. So
how many do we know? Did we figure out?
Beast, they said there were
there's 9 total. How many do we know? The name.
Well, we did. So it's like the attack Titan, the founding Titan, the cargo Titan, which he's so quick. I was not expecting.
He's such a fast little guy.
Beast, and then
Beast, colossal, armored, whatever Ymir is.
Yeah, Ymir, whatever Annie is.
Wasn't Annie founding? Because
was she the founding?
Isn't founding the one that can control all of the Titans? And wasn't that Annie's power?
That's what Aaron has.
Yeah, because he ate part of Annie, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So Aaron's technically the attack Titan, whose whole thing is that it fights for freedom.
Yeah.
Right.
Which it was like, okay, buddy.
Ever been the attack Titan dreams of freedom. I was like, damn.
Annie is female Titan. Okay, so we have attack, founding, cargo, beast, colossal, female. Armor, dancing, female. Okay. Cargo, beast, colossal.
Yeah, and the founding one is in Historia now?
Yeah, was Historia the one who ate it?
Oh.
Now I can't remember.
I know. That was the whole thing with Kenny, right? Was that whole family, like Historia stuff. Founding is in Aaron.
Yeah, that's right. He also ate it because the king or whatever was trying to force Annie to eat it. Because not Annie, sorry, Historia.
Yeah.
Technically, she's of royal blood.
Right, so she should be the one to have it, technically. Yeah.
Aaron has founding and attack. Okay. Is what chat is.
Yeah.
So he's both now. Dancing is what Ymir is, right?
Yeah.
The really squat, weird one. Okay.
Then cargo is cargo.
Yeah, we don't know who Cargo is.
No.
It's fine. He's a sweet, fast weirdo. Okay, guys, important question. If you could be any of the special Titans, which one would you be?
Which one would you be?
Cargo Titan, 100%.
I was literally going to say Cargo
He's so fast.
He's so
I'd be able to get out.
So useful. And he's got thick butt.
Yeah.
His
Runs
little
around.
booty like sticks up above the cargo. Like there's a lot going on there.
There's a lot going on.
Yeah. Either that or Beast, because you'd never be cold.
Yeah,
So
it's true.
Yeah.
This man don't stop.
Our
That's it. I have to go put my milk away. I'll be back.
this
man
boy.
doesn't stop.
This man here will not stop.
I thought she was still talking about a Titan.
That cargo boy, you don't stop.
Look at the little cat ears just waiting.
I know. I have been there, and it is so annoying to have like just one thing of food and be like, please leave it alone. Please
Please just stop.
leave it alone. Please leave it alone. Please leave it alone. And they just won't. It's so annoying.
Hi.
Hi.
That was so funny. Should we talk about art? Real
Sure.
quick?
Yeah.
I agree with what Dodger was saying earlier. The art in this section is so much cleaner, so much way smoother. The action is clearer, especially compared to earlier chapters. It's so much cleaner, which is like you can't. Like, the style of the people hasn't changed, but the fact that it's way less sketchier makes it not as ugly. It makes it fit the story a little bit more, which is what Dodger, when she had her wonderful run-in with the AOT fandom, was something, because you were talking about how the art in Attack on Titan isn't good. Or something along those lines, right?
I thought it was really messy. And
Messy,
I still think that like specifically faces can get really fucky and weird
Yes.
in this manga.
Yeah.
Yes,
But
agree.
yes, the way that the fights and the action is drawn now is so much better than it used to be.
Yes.
And it didn't help that before the mangaka would like try to play around with like, is this a flashback or is it not a flashback, and like go back and forth between things that happened in the past.
Yeah.
Sometimes. And so you were like, okay, the art already is a little muddy, and now I don't even know when this is happening. Like,
Yes.
So that sort of stuff was really difficult for me in our reading before. So I was really glad that like we still had side stuff happening and like past stuff happening, but it was very clearly like, now we are going to discuss the past.
Yeah.
And that's done. And now we're back to the present. Yeah, I thought that clarity just in general in the art and in the story like had a huge bump up.
Yeah, exactly. And I agree with that 100% because that was my big critique too, was like, I mean, the first volume, it opens with the Eren getting eaten, right? Like there was something with like, it opens with the very beginning of, what is it? It's the first volume is really weird. Like it has something that happens in the present and then it skips to the future where it has Eren and them, or there's something where like it's in the present and then it skips to the back for like 5 chapters, past for 5 chapters, and then it goes back to the present, and it's just like the art is so messy you can't understand what character is who or anything like that. And so the fact that the mangaka with this section has really streamlined that and figured out the right way or how to do it clearer is very important. I think played a big part in why this section was so solid. And the art, I agree, is also so much cleaner. You can understand what's going on, and there's so much more. It's so much more dynamic too. And so I I really like the art in this section, even if faces like at moments were like, what's happening to your body, or like it's just like an arm and then a little circle for the hand or something like that.
Yeah.
But the fact that it was so much more well done in other places made that a little bit more forgivable.
For sure.
Yeah, I think the section that made me realize like how much he's improved is when they get to the basement door, and Aaron's like, this key it's not for this door. I don't know like what it's for then. And Levi's just like, I'm so fucking done. Like
I'm just kicking it open.
Yeah, he just the way it like read, I was just like, wow, I felt that kick.
Yes.
Yeah.
Kick me, Levi.
Kick me.
Oh my god.
Agreed.
There was a split second when reading that I was like, just break down the door. Please, somebody just break down the door.
Yeah.
Like, don't think to yourselves, guess we've got the wrong key. Like, that wouldn't have made any sense anyway, but I was like, please, someone.
Yeah, don't drag this out anymore.
Yeah.
Do you guys have anything else you want to touch on? Otherwise, we'll get to final thoughts and ratings.
I think
I'm
we
good.
covered. Yeah.
Cool.
Nori, any last add-ins?
Banana bread.
Doesn't look like it.
Banana bread.
Banana bread. Hashtag kick me, Levi. Yes. I will trend it. I'll be spokesperson. I'll put it in my username on Twitter so that it shows up whenever you type in kick me, Levi. I'll be the top contributor. Okay. Cool. Final thoughts and ratings. Trying to think about what to give. I feel like this section was really strong and I was really engaged, and we got a lot of answers for things in a way that was told. It was well done. And so I think I'm going to give it an 8. I really, really enjoyed this section. And the moral dilemmas, the character development we got, the stuff that happened in terms of what happened with Erwin and Armin. There was so many well done payoffs and felt fulfilled. And the fact that we're finally in that fucking basement and we're getting all this backstory and it's really interesting backstory. It's not at all what I was expecting, and it's also not generic or by the book or anything like that. So I think between like an 8 and 8.5, especially since the art is so much cleaner and the mangaka's figured out how to tell flashbacks from present too. And there was so much Levi. If we're just going to go off Levi's scores, it's 10 out of 10 because he was just so many how many badass? At least 10. So Levi is 10. Many? Levi is 10 out of 10. Always in my heart, forever. Kick me.
As a person who did not watch the anime, I was going to give this section a 9. I have no animated version to compare it to, but as somebody who's been very critical of the manga in the past, I was very pleasantly surprised with this section. Like I was saying, I just thought it was so much clearer. I thought that it was engaging. We had like a good mixture of tactical discussion and political discussion, as well as action, and the action was easy to follow. You okay?
Me?
Yep. Okay. So yeah, I was very happy with this. It made me want to continue. So that was a nice feeling.
I feel like if you're going to give it a 9, I need to update mine to like a 9 and a 9.5 as well.
You don't have to.
No, I just thought I was doing too high. And so then I'm like, you know what? I feel like I'm up there too. I just never know what to do with these scores.
No, that's fair.
Yeah.
Follow your heart.
10 out of 10 Levi's.
I think for me, it was like a solid 9. The art was like so much clearer. I'm glad that we got out of the politics a little bit and got to see more action. Which I remember, when the chapters first dropped, I remember that a lot of the fandom had also been like up in arms because they were like, "Where did all the action go?" I wasn't here for politics, and so it's like nice to see finally like more action happening. And so yeah, 9 out of 10. There's a lot of like character growth and like a lot of people realizing stuff and how much war sucks. And so yeah.
Awesome. Hold on 1 second. I'm doing something very important.
Okay. Is it finding a bird that is the Levi bird?
No, but I feel like I need to do that now.
Which bird is the Levi bird here?
Here, I'm posting the description for what we're reading next week so you can read it, Dodger.
Okay, sounds good.
And while you do that, I will look for what bird is the Levi bird.
Okay, great.
So that wraps up our discussion for Attack on Titan. Thank you guys so much for listening and hanging out. We definitely think that this is a section you should go read. So go ahead, and if you haven't read Attack on Titan, go check it out. And also check out the anime, because this section in the anime is really, really good. So we are going to go ahead and shout out or read the description for the manga that we are doing next week. And Dodger is going to go ahead and do that. I mean, I think I know which one.
The summary is so bad.
Oh, go find a different one.
I'm trying to find a different one. I'm sorry. Give me just.
Oh no, it's okay. I'll fill space.
Okay, I'm looking for a bird.
I looked into maybe what happened in the mangaka's life that caused. I don't know. I feel like the release for some of the chapters is just a lot slower than I'm expecting. But I guess he got married like at the end of 2018. So maybe that has something to do with it.
Oh.
And then I saw I remember back then he had been saying that he wanted to end the series by 2020. So now I'm wondering I wonder if he's still on schedule to end it by the end of this year, or if things have changed in his life where he's like, maybe I want to expand on a few things before continuing this last arc. So now I'm just like, I wonder. Because I feel like when big events like marriage and kids happens, a lot of your perspectives on certain things change.
Yeah.
So that's why
your priorities kind of shift. For sure. Okay. I have one that's still bad, but it's at least got a little more.
Yay.
Okay, guys. Y'all ready to guess the manga that we're reading next week? Blank and blank head out to Tokyo to become the gods of blank. They seem to always attract trouble, though. On their way, Blank and Blank join them in their quest, and despite its rock star type look, this manga is really about freedom.
Wow.
Good luck, everyone.
Attack Titan? Hello?
Attack Titan.
It is Attack Titan. Bakuman, no.
We have read this before.
Mm-hmm.
It was read for a birthday pod.
Yes.
Birthday pod, but it was read for a birthday pod initially.
Here, while you're all thinking, I think this is just the best one. It's one of my favorite birds.
Oh, for a Levi bird?
Yeah. Here we go. I mean,
yes, that's the one. There's Levi. There he is. Oh my god. Good.
I'm leaving it up for the rest of the thing.
Also,
yeah, do it. Why not?
No one's gotten it yet.
Oh,
no one's gotten it. So this was a Duger birthday pod. I made everybody read it. I read it forever ago when I was a youngling. But it's a manga called Bremen that is really close to my heart.
Yes.
About a bunch of misfits that all come together that love rock and roll.
I love it.
And
it's so good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh. Sorry.
Oh, no, I was just going to say we're reading chapters 25 through 56 of that one. So we're going to be reading that next week. So look forward to that. Bremen, don't know that one. Yeah, it's a lot. I had never heard of it until Dodger had us read it for MangaPod. It's really good.
It's not very well known.
Yeah.
The only reason that I read it when I was younger was there was a scanlation site that I had found that had, I think, Yu Yu Hakusho on it. And Bremen, the cover of Bremen looked interesting. And I was like, I don't know what this is, but I've got nothing to read. So I'll try it out. And I just deep dived. So,
Aw.
yeah.
I love those kind of manga. The
Yeah.
nostalgia memories.
Totally.
If you want to listen to that podcast, the VOD is up on Happily Aaron. So you can check that out, and it'll eventually be on Spotify, I'm sure. So you can wait for it to be on there. Let's go around and shout out our stuff super fast. I am Aaron at Happily Aaron. I have a YouTube channel. It's basically the MangaPod channel as of now, where you can watch all the VODs. I also have anime reviews, first impressions, and stuff like that up there. Mental health awareness. I'm currently working on a book. It's gotten sent to beta readers.
Girl, you go. You good.
You guys are so sweet. It's so sweet having beta readers be so supportive. I love it. So you can check out updates for that on Twitter and Instagram. And I'm also super into Thai dramas, Why Are You, and The Untamed, which is a Chinese drama, and it's so good. It's so good. So I'm really into that and kind of spamming my feels about my ships on there. So if you want to go check me out, I'm much more active on Instagram and Twitter. So that's me.
I am Dodger. You can find me at Dex Bonus on pretty much everything. I stream almost every day, and I've got a cute kid that I talk about too much, and that's mostly my life. So if you would like to come hang out with me, that would be amazing. Also, shout out to our host that has been just crunching and living life right now, Lou. We love you, dude. And if you would like to send him some big hearts and love, you can find him at Lou Talks Anime on Twitter.
You can find me also at Mega Moika and just about anything. You'll either find me on Twitch or just talking about random stuff on Twitter related to cosplay, anime, manga. Who knows what? Probably husbandos. Actually, that's another point that I wanted to get to in this reading was that Erwin proving my point of he was not himbo enough, and so that's why he died.
That's why he died.
He died. He's too smart.
He needed more himbo. Yeah.
He needed more himbo. Maybe then he would have lived. So much my head.
Only himbos survive.
That's not true. Some classic himbos have died. Not saying anything, but some classic himbos have died in the media of manga.
Yeah. Sad.
Amazing. So that wraps up our podcast for this week. Thank you guys so much for watching this on stream or YouTube or listening to us on Spotify or iTunes. We really appreciate it. We will be here next Sunday talking about Bremen, volumes 4 through 6, chapters 25 through 56. We'll hope you join us. We hope you will join us next week.
Bye. Yes.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye-bye.